My addiction story continued.
Okay, my camera cut off again, and I promise y'all this is going somewhere, but I start dating this popular guy, and he and all his friends are in baseball and football and all this here. So my girlfriends and I start hanging out with them all the time. A few of my girlfriends start dating a few of the guy friends, whatever. Well, oh crap, and I totally forgot to tell y'all. Back when I was in my emo stage, we would drink Robitussin. And we would do something, we would get high. It's called robo-tripping. Yep, so I did that, and we would also take Coricidin, which I don't even know what it's for, but we called it triple C's, and we would get high by taking, like, I think it's a cough medicine. So yeah, there's that too. That was in my emo stage. I totally forgot about that. That was rude, sorry. Totally forgot about that. And I also huffed air freshener more times than I care to admit. Okay. Fast forward back to where I was. Back to where my pill thing started. So these guys, the popular guys, they all liked to take Xanax. And I had never taken Xanax. Like I just told you, I had just taken some cough syrup, you know, whatever. And it had been a really long time. That was like way before this. Way before. It was like 2 or 3 years before. And so I was introduced to what's called being barred out. You take Xanax and you drink on top of it, and basically you just black out. You forget everything, which is so unsafe for so many reasons. But hey, everybody's doing it, right? So that's where Xanax started. They would also get promethazine syrup and pour it with Sprite and make purple drink. So that started. We all smoked pot, but again, I really didn't smoke pot then. I really don't think. I think I might have like once or twice, but it was never really my thing. Now I don't remember what I did when I was barred out, as far as like smoking pot or not, because I don't remember. We were blacked out. So that's where that started. But really just being around them is where, like, as I told you, the alcohol had already picked up. Now, boy that I loved died in August, and I started dating popular boy, God, I think in October, which sounds crazy because I just told y'all how devastated and how dying I was. But, like, I felt appreciated. I felt pretty. I felt cool. I felt good for the first time since boy that I loved passed away. Now, in no way, shape, or form was I mentally stable enough to be dating somebody, but it was a gateway into partying. And that's what I wanted to do, to forget about how shitty I felt otherwise. So he and I dated for a little bit, whatever. He actually got into legal trouble, go figure, and I started dating his friend. What? Scandalous, I know. Well, said friend was into all the same crap that legal trouble boy was into, so that just kept up. So drinking just, you know, kept going, whatever. Over the next several years, I drank all the time, literally like every day. I became, when I drank, I was this mean, horrible person. I would say these horrible things. Those 6 girlfriends I mentioned previously, well, I like totally demolished those friendships by being drunk and saying things and doing things that I would never even imagine saying or doing sober. And once something is said, you can't really take it back. You can apologize, but I mean, that doesn't. And I was so stubborn, I don't even think I apologized at the time. All our bridges are mended now, but it still is just, it's really tough, you know. So, oh God, I was having such a hard time. In high school, I ended up graduating a year early. I graduated with a friend of mine who now actually has passed away as well, but I graduated with him and another good friend of mine at the time, and so it was just like party central. I actually graduated early, went straight into college at a technical college locally here, and I was having a great time. But what is there in college? There's alcohol everywhere. At this point, I had a fake ID. I was drinking all the time. At some point in my college career at that school, I really freaking hated my English class. Like, I freaking hated my English class. And there was a break between, like, my whatever class, and then there was, like, a 2-hour break, and then that English class that I hated. So I would go to the gas station, and I would just buy like, a 12-pack of beer, and I would just drink, you know, whatever before that class. I didn't care. I actually got in trouble for Xanax one time in high school. I talked my way out of it, but I forgot to mention that I actually got in trouble for Xanax because a teacher saw me weaving through the hallways, but I talked my way out of it. My assistant principal actually called my cell phone later to make sure I got home okay, and I was on Xanax and drinking. I remember talking to him, but I don't remember what was said, but I talked my way out of it, and nothing ever became of it. But that goes back to what I said earlier about being able to lie as easy as I could breathe. But I remember, and if I didn't buy a 12-pack, like if I didn't have time, I would just get a Deuce and go sit in the bathroom and like drink a Deuce. Or even like during class, like I would just get up and like go to the bathroom and like chug a Deuce, which is like a 24-ounce beer, and then go back. And like I could function. I was a functioning alcoholic. Like I could talk fine, do fine. To me, it was just normal. And God, that went on, and I ended up moving out of state, and my parents thought that me moving out of state, me getting away from my hometown and the people that were in it, would do me better, but it didn't. I was out of state. I was in a new town. I didn't know anybody besides one person, and that ended up not working out. When this person came back from deployment, they were a completely different creature than they were, and that obviously didn't work out. But what did work out was me turning 21 years old, and I remember cutting my fake ID in half. Not that it really mattered, but it just going to bars every single night. I fell down at the bar and chipped this tooth. I didn't even remember. I went to the bar the next night and had to ask the barkeep what happened, and he told me I fell and hit my face on the wood bar. Don't remember that. I lied to my parents and told them that I tripped up the stairs carrying groceries, because my apartment at that time was up a flight of stairs. So of course insurance paid for me to get my tooth fixed. There are several more incidences, but that one just like sticks out in my head. I ended up moving home from out of state, and I drank around my parents' pool, did whatever. Literally, I drank all the time, and I forgot a really big part of this story, and I'm sorry. I don't know how I forgot such a big part of this story, but I started dating someone before the guy that was deployed. I'm sorry, this is backwards, but he was friends with the boy that I dated that passed away, and I started dating him, and he had a cocaine problem again, but he wasn't doing it anymore. But his dad had a shop, and we would all go outside and just drink at the shop, and we ended up dating for about 1.5 years, and that's, since the boy that passed away, this was the next person that I loved, and I loved him to the best of my capability. But we drank all the time, and that was what we did together. Every time we hung out, we drank. And there were sober times, obviously, but it was just I think in the end he ended up loving me more than I loved him, because he could handle his alcohol more than I could, and there was more of our relationship sober to him. That doesn't matter, but anyway, drank through all that. I ended up moving out of state, and that person that I was dating, okay, the person that came back from deployment was a total asshole. That didn't work out. I'm up there just living, drinking, literally like going to the bar every night, living on my parents' dime. It's pathetic. And the other person that I told you I loved got in a bad car accident, and his sister called me and said that he kept saying my name. Could I come home? Well, you know, I do have a soul. You know, I was a drunk, but I'm like, I'm a good person. So I come back home, and that rekindles, but it wasn't what it was before, and it was just a mess. Just because at that point I'm so freaking far gone drinking, you know, just literally like, he had a really messed up foot and was on painkillers and like couldn't drink, but I would just like, at his parents' house, I would just sit there and like drink beer while I'm supposed to be like taking care of this person who's like been in a bad car accident. That makes me sound really shitty, but it is what it is. You know, I was an alcoholic. I am an alcoholic. So anyway, at that point, I'm just super far gone. I left out another detail. I'm sorry, I told you I didn't write this down. Before this person and I started dating originally, I moved in with a friend in downtown, and we were going out to the bars it was like Twisted Tuesdays, Wacky Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Friday night, Saturday night. Like we drank all the time. And that's how I ran into this person. I ran into him in downtown for a St. Patrick's Day celebration, and he ended up carrying my heels back to my apartment for me, and that's just kind of how that started. So we met drunk. Like, I knew him from school, but like we met up drunk, and our whole relationship was based, not our whole relationship, a lot of our relationship was based off drinking and having a good time. At one point, he ended up buying a house, and I kind of moved in with him, and he had a job. I didn't. I was staying drinking all day at home or at his house, and like it was just a disaster. Like, sorry, my dog's right here. It was just a disaster. My drinking had gone just dog hair too. God, y'all, this video is gonna be so long. I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I hung out around fraternities, a lot of drinking. My life was literally just like a party. The person that I was kind of living with, whatever, he and I finally broke things off, and it was really nasty, and it was not a good time, and I met up with an old friend who I'm still friends with to this day, and he was telling me that he was going to start going to school for exercise sports science at a college about an hour from here. Long story short, I was always a good student. I made A's. I did well when I applied myself. So, and I really liked science. I really liked sciences. Anatomy and physiology was really what I cared about a lot. And it just came naturally to me. So I talked it over with my parents, and sorry, I just remembered something. I got into legal trouble when I was 16. And I got into legal trouble again, but it wasn't actually my fault. They thought I was driving under suspension, but I actually had not even had a speeding ticket at that point. Anyway, so just throwing that in there. So So I talked it over with my parents. I applied to this college. I got accepted. I was so excited. And again, they kind of thought that if I went away from where I was and who I was surrounding myself with, that things would get better. Well, for a while it did. I move away. I'm going to school. I'm doing great. I'm exceeding in things. I'm making A's. Because at this point, I really don't know anybody besides my one friend. So there wasn't a lot of partying going on. And I was really like, I knew I needed to clean myself up. So I was trying to clean myself up. I was doing well. I was going to the gym at my college. I was doing well. I actually got a job at a local gym down there, and I was working in the daycare. I freaking love kids, okay, obviously. And so I'm doing that. Well, then the friend that I know down there introduces me to his friends, and they're in frats, and then some of them are into I don't know what it's called now, but like dubstep music, and they all were like dropping Molly and all this stuff, and I never did that. If you don't know what Molly is, it's the purest form of ecstasy, I'm pretty sure, but it's ecstasy. I actually never did Molly. But so I start meeting people. Long story short, because I'm trying to sum this video up, I start drinking instead of going to work. I start drinking instead of going to class. I start drinking and then going to work. I start drinking by myself. I start drinking to write papers about Shakespeare. I start drinking, I mean, it's drinking all the freaking time, all the time. I mean, literally like every single night, I mean, 7 days a week. Maybe, okay, 6 days a week. On Sundays, I would come home to my parents' house to do my laundry and have dinner and stuff because my apartment did not have a washer and dryer. Drinking all the other time. But so I start branching out and meeting friends other than the frat guys and whatever. And that's kind of where cocaine started. And I never had a cocaine problem. I never bought cocaine. I never nothing. But if it was offered to me, I would do it. So that's when that started. And then it kind of started like people offering me oxycodone, oxycodone, hydrocodone, promethazine, Loratab, whatever. And we would break up oxys and snort them or whatever. It got to the point where we'd be at bars snorting pills off the back of public toilets. Like, that's disgusting. And we'd be drinking all during this time and snorting coke, like just mixing all these things that don't need to be mixed, doing all this crap that didn't need to be had. But again, I never had withdrawals from like cocaine or pills or anything. I never, not that I'm judging you if you have bought that stuff, but I never bought that stuff. I just did it if it was around and if it was offered to me. Well, I come home to my hometown for a buddy of mine's college graduation, and this is where I meet up with my husband. My now husband. I knew my husband as a child. I met him when I was like, I don't know, 12 years old at the movie theaters, and he liked me because I had big hoo-haws. Because I did, I don't now, because I've breastfed my kids, but at the time I had like D boobs, and I'm like 12 years old. Literally, true story. Save it for another day. And yeah, but I come home from my buddy's college graduation. We all meet up at a bar downtown and we're drinking, having fun. Well, I had actually quit smoking at that point. I was on an electric cigarette because, like I told you, I was in school for exercise sports science. I'm like trying to do good. I'm like trying to do these things. I think I had quit smoking cigarettes for like a week at that point. Smoking my electronic cigarette, whatever. Well, here comes my troublemaking husband and offers me a cigarette, and I'm like, oh, what the hell, like, fine. So we just go outside and talk, and so I'm looking at my dog. We just go outside and talk, and we're just talking, and we hit it off, and we start hanging out, and my husband at this point was a drinker too. But I mean, he just liked to drink. He just likes to have a good time in general. My husband's a really social person. He likes to have a good time. He likes to go out. Whatever. And obviously this is when we're like 22 and 23 years old. You know, he's almost 29. I'll be 29 in November. So this was a while back, y'all. So keep in mind, he has grown up. Do not judge my husband from this. But so we're drinking, we're having a good time. Well, I have to go back to college because I have an apartment down there. I have all these things. Well, you know, he's wanting me to come back here, you know, to be together, to do these things, whatever. Well, I end up getting in legal trouble again. And I end up, you know, having to come home. And you know, my parents were kind of fed up at that point. That's it. Like, I lost my apartment. I came back home. I'm living with them. I'm doing whatever. I'm dating my now husband. His name is Mitch. I'm dating Mitch. And, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm literally begging him because, like, he had a steady job. I didn't have a job. And I'm begging him, like, to go out every single night. And he's like, I got to work the next day. Like, you know, no, I'm really tired. And I'm like, well, I'm going. And so I didn't go alone because I was a freaking brat. He would come with me and, like, be dragging ass for work the next day. But I was such a selfish brat. And I know that, and I admit that now. But anyway, you know, we're dating, whatever. We get engaged on August 20th, April 20th, 420. April 20th, 2012. We're drunk in my parents' driveway. But I mean, okay, oh my gosh. My camera cut off again, and my contact is killing me. This one already fell out. Beside the point. So we get engaged on April 20th, 2012. And we actually had a cruise booked for April 28th, 2012. Y'all, we drank the whole night. We drank the whole morning. We drank all the way on to getting on our cruise. We were, like, freaking out in the parking garage because we were like, oh my god, there's police, like, directing traffic or whatever. So stupid. Anyway, you know, whatever. I ended up being, like, seasick our whole cruise. Anyway, I conceived on May 1st, and I didn't know that. I had no idea. So we ended up going to my cousin's wedding, which was on June 8th, 2013. So maybe it was 2013. I'm sorry, I've been telling y'all 2012. It was definitely 2013. I'm sorry about that. We went to my cousin's wedding, which was on June 8th, 2013, and we were drinking. I was actually sitting there drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette, and I just said, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of feeling this way. And I put my beer down. I ended up sobering up, and I ended up driving everyone home that night. I was the DD. Up until that point, I had kind of been getting tired of drinking. I was telling my husband, or he was not my husband at the time, he was my fiance. I was telling him, you know, I just can't drink this. I just don't want to drink this. I did not know I was pregnant, y'all. But on June 8th, 2013, that is when I took my last drink. I sat that drink down, and when we got back to my grandma's house, they handed me a beer. We got pizza. I didn't drink it. I didn't want it. So I ended up being the DD that night, and I drove us back to our hotel and everything, and I've never looked back. That was on June 8th. June 9th, we were walking into an Academy Sports because we didn't have one here, and I was smoking a Parliament Menthol Light, I think. And I threw my cigarette down, and I've never smoked another cigarette since. And then, lo and behold, June 10th, 2013, I found out that I was pregnant with my sweet baby Brandon. On June 22nd, I heard her heartbeat for the first time. I was 6 weeks and a couple of days. And I really think that because I was pregnant and I didn't have another choice, I never had withdrawals. I never had any of that. It was something that I came up with on my own terms. And actually, when I found out I was pregnant, my mom was looking at rehabs to send me to because my drinking had gotten so completely out of control. I mean, I had no stopping point. I drank to get drunk. And when I say drunk, I mean blackout drunk or asleep. I drank with a mission. I couldn't just sit down and have a glass of wine. I would drink the whole bottle. And that's not an exaggeration. Yeah, we pushed our wedding up from April to August, and we got married August 24th, 2013. We had Branton in February 2nd, 2014. And yeah, I was 5 years sober June 8th, and it is October. So I'm almost 5.5 years sober at this point. I don't think that if anybody had tried to put me in treatment that it would have worked, because it's something that I had to come up with on my own free will. I ended up being saved while I was pregnant. I ended up getting baptized on July 12th, 2015. Jesus is my living hope. He is everything to me. My family, they are everything to me. And I'm so grateful and thankful for my parents and my friends and my family, my sister, all of them that have stuck with me through all of my shit. And I say that just literally through all of my crap, through everything that I have put everyone through over the years. I am still trying to make amends for that, because I was just so completely out of control. If you were mentioned in this video, I apologize to you for being so crappy. And I thank all of you for watching this video. I know it was completely all over the place, scattered, and it's probably going to be really, really long. I may have to even break it into 2 parts, but I thank you for watching this. I thank you for understanding. If you have any questions about anything, if you need someone to talk to, if you're going through similar circumstances, and you just want to chat, please feel free. That's my dog. Please feel free to send me a message, and we can talk. I'm here for you. Y'all are my friends. So thank you again for watching this. I'm sorry that it was so scattered and all over the place, and yeah, I will see y'all next time. Bye.
I started using alcohol and drugs at age 12, and they were abused until I got sober at age 22. That's 10 years of my life. Please like, share, and subscribe.